Okay, so if you're turning on this video, then it's because you are struggling with your iron shots, and there's nothing worse than hitting a great tee shot and then you're in the middle of the fairway, you're thinking ahead of yourself, which is also probably wrong, but you're thinking ahead of yourself thinking, I'm gonna make par, I can make birdie, one good iron shot and I'm on the green, and then suddenly an explosion of turf and you catch it fat. And there's nothing worse, there's no worse feeling, because the fat iron shot just destroys confidence and it can destroy your score and that initial hole. Even if you catch it thin, at least the ball has made some headway towards the hole. Now, this particular cause that I'm going to be talking about is very much related to the body, and one of our, as a coach, the pet hate, keeping your head down. For everybody watching this video right now, let me get this clear, because I hear it a lot in coaching as well, and I go off my coach's rant about there's no such thing as keeping your head down, because there really isn't. And there's no such thing as lifting your head, because there really, really isn't. So don't try and keep your head down, because it's going to cause what I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, if you are new to the channel, please do drop down and hit that subscribe button, and also hit the bell for notifications. I've got lots of tips, loads and loads of content coming to the channel this year. Very exciting year ahead, so to not miss out, please do hit that subscribe button down below. Right, we're talking fatty shots, the old chunky monkey. Nothing worse, there's nothing worse. Right, so first of all, let's clear the air with the old lifting of the head, because it doesn't happen. No one's ever looked up there as they've hit the golf shot, or looked over there, or no one's ever looked for the ball before they hit it. Okay, it doesn't happen, I promise. It's almost physically impossible. You probably break your neck, so it's not going to happen. But I 100% understand the idea, the sentiment and the feeling, and this is what we're talking about in today's video, because a lot of players try to stay in posture, but so much they actually forget that we come out of posture. The best players in the world, they come out of posture. Everyone moves the spine angle back and to the right or to the left, depending on what side of the golf course you play, left or right-handed, and the head moves, the body moves, the knees move, the posture, everything moves. So don't try and stay too stationary. Be free, be flowing. Now, obviously, there's a limit to that. We don't want to be over here and open here and this side. We don't want to overdo it, but definitely allow the body to be free, okay? Now, the common fault that I was talking about is the upper body dropping down. Everyone tries to stay in posture, keep the head down, smother the ball with the chest to compress the ball. There is an element of truth in that. However, when you get into that position there, we're in trouble, because now your arms are working downwards to the ground and your chest is not moving, and then suddenly the club is going to land much earlier than you would want it to. You've got to allow the club to work its way down to the ground, and therefore your body has got to work against it. So your body's got to work upwards to allow that club to stop digging into the ground. If you swing up to the top and you stay into posture, and then you think, right, okay, drop the arms down but stay in posture, there's a chance that the club's just going to dig, because it's working down and your body is very much in the way. So the body will always start to work upwards as you come through the shots. Now, that's definitely a feeling we want to try and get, not necessarily the reality, but it's a feeling, because once I start to rotate my lead hip, my upper body will start to tilt away from the target. So now I'm definitely not in my posture position. So as my arms go down to scrape into that ground, I can't stay in my posture. I've got to move, I've got to rotate, and as I rotate, you can see my spine angle changing. It's kind of curving away from the target, and my hip rotation is working towards the target. So if I try and stay down over the ball and turn my hips, I'm going to look like this. My spine angle is going to be directly over the ball. My arms are going to have absolutely nowhere to go but a couple of inches below the golf ball. So we need to be allowing the arms to work downwards and the body to rotate. Otherwise, we get that. We get the arms working down and the body doesn't rotate, okay? So we're going to get to the top of the backswing and we're going to get a lovely strike. So the strikes come from the rotation. Now obviously there's lots of other causes of this. There's obviously swing path and general angle of attack and body weight position and ball position, setup position. There's lots and lots of ways that you can catch this ball a little bit heavy or a little bit thin. But today it's having that mindset as the arms work downwards, body rotates, and you just start to feel, try and figure out how you can scrape the ground and not catch the ball really heavy. Now, that sounds again like a very obvious thing, but you've noticed me, I'm just doing these little one-handed swings, and as I'm coming through, my lead hip's leading upwards and my spine angle's changing as I hit the shot. I'm more in that position. I've got this little curve in my lower back. My backside's pushing towards the target, but my spine angle has stayed towards the golf ball. So as a result of my lower body moving, my spine angle has moved. So I've not tried to stay down over the ball, because staying down over the ball will just let the arms go straight into the ground. Also, another thing for staying over the ball is that it limits your flexibility, because you're so obsessed with staying in posture, you can't turn. So if you can't really turn, then you get steep. If you get steep, you get the dig as well. So these are all very common faults of one cause. Golfers that don't want to move from setup, but you understand that you've got to understand that you have to. That's how we're going to scrape the club through the ground. And even that one, that's a little bit on the thin side. Now, it may have sounded quite good, but as on the thin side, I would 100% take that as a bad shot. Why? Because it's probably on the green, or it's very, very close to the green, or if this is a club that needs to get to the back edge, that's on the front edge. I'm putting. The heavy shot drops me in this sand just in front of the tee box. Right, so a really good drill you can just do with that is actually just try it. Just try and stay in posture, swing up to the top with a little bit of limited flexibility because you've not really allowed your spine angle to move up, and then just try and find a way to not hit the ground too heavy. Now what you'll see is, even when I stay in posture here, I've got to really move that out of the way. I've got to really clear that left hip as much as I possibly can so I don't hit the ground. If I don't clear the left hip, I come straight into the ground, ruining this tee box. So sorry about that, guys, but it's important. So as we come back down, we need to try and find a way that you can just use your body to stop fatting into the ground and start scraping, because that's how we're going to get much cleaner strikes through the ball. And then when you've come into a finish position, start to hold it, start to get a feel for what you're doing through the ball. You're starting to rotate out of the way, your club's working down, your spine angle's working back, your hips are working to the target, and we're just getting much cleaner strikes. Now I've purposely done this as well with a long iron. I've got a 5-iron in my hand because, again, this is one of those clubs that everyone's scared of, me included sometimes. It's a hard club to hit. It's not an easy golf club to consistently strike. So this is important, that we can just have the confidence that these sort of shots, these second shots, or these longer approach shots with the longer irons, we can get good strikes. So understanding the mechanics of how the body's going to work through impact. I'll take all of them. Absolutely. To be fair, it's going to make picking the golf ball look pretty easy. I've put them all pretty much next to each other. I should probably get my yardage now and figure out how far I actually hit the ball, because that was pretty good. So it's massively important that you understand that we don't want to just stay in posture throughout the golf swing, because it just technically doesn't happen. We have to have some sort of movement as we go through. You see my upper body starting to rotate and kind of rotate away from where the target would be. I don't stay over the ball and just work down, because that's going to catch the ball heavy. So this is something that you can just kind of play around with. Try and build feels, because the feel of this is that your upper body is going to start to lift through the ball. Now that can very much be misconstrued with doing this, which is not what we're doing. We're rotating through the ball, and as a result, we're arching and angling the spine angle, which is quite a complicated thing to either explain and understand without actually doing it yourself. Lots of one-handed swings, so use your trail hand. So for right-handed golfers, use your right hand and just find the ball, just find the grass, find the ground, because with the longer arm to the trail side, if you don't maneuver your body through impact, you will just dig it into the ground. And that's the key. That is the key. It's a great little drill just to find some movement. Start to feel how the upper body and the lower body connection works as you come through impact, because you will notice that you will move your head up and down. You will move it from side to side. You will get your spine angle slightly tilted away. There's so many things that go on in the golf swing that all these misconceptions, just sometimes as the advice that we're given is on such a polite level. People want to help each other, which is amazing, but we need to be relatively correct with how we do it. So please guys, give this a try. Jump in the comments below. Let me know if this is something that's either helped or you've been working on, or hopefully it's added some clarity to how you should be working the club and the club through impact to get better ball striking. And as for today's video, I'm going to see you again very, very soon, because I've got loads and loads of content to come. So as I said at the start of the video, please do hit that subscribe button. Also, if you enjoyed this video and you think it's added value to your golf game, please do also hit that like. But I will see you again in the very near future.